Hi everyone. We are here today, and I want to share with you that in today's world, one of the things that's going to come under a lot of questioning, not questioning is the right word, reinvention probably, is the wedding industry, is the fashion industry, because people are going to question what weddings are going to be all about. I mean, from a 1,000-person, 5,000-person, 10,000-person, 3-day, 5-day weddings, they're truly a celebration. Today we all can't get together and we can't do huge events, etc. How long is this going to last? I know the wedding season is coming up. How is it going to be? And also, what is the very fundamental question about fashion? Are we going to question luxury items? Are we going to say that how are these made? Do we really need it? How is that going to change the world of fashion? So I wanted to invite someone who's really at the forefront of this and forefront of fashion, of wedding trousseau design, as well as someone who's always been ahead of the curve as far as technology is concerned. So today I thought I'll invite Neeta Lulla to be with us and share with us her story and her perspective. Just give me a second. I'm trying to get her on. Hi.
Hi, Lakshmi. How are you?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Oh, I love the Kalamkari you're wearing.
Yeah, it's, I'm from Andhra, so I'm a bit Kalamkari fan.
Oh.
And I know you do a lot of work with Kanjeevaram. Pardon?
I'm from Hyderabad as well.
Oh, really? I grew up in Hyderabad.
Yes.
Yeah. Which part of Hyderabad? Oh, na, ekkada perigaru? Which part of Hyderabad are you from?
Maratpalli. I'm a St. Anne's prodigy.
Okay, I'm Madapati Hanumantrao Girls High School, Narayanguda. I lived in Sanjeev Reddy Nagar, and oh wow, we have. I do a Telugu show every Friday. I should have you on there sometime.
In my broken Telugu, yes, I would like to speak Telugu at some point in time, but it's all Pudela, but I manage it, which is what I enjoy.
Yeah. So you at about, say, when you started, you were 16, you were in SNDT college at that time, right? So did you leave Hyderabad to come to Bombay to go to SNDT? How was your...
So I graduated from St. Anne's when I was 16. I did finish my 10th and I came into Mumbai to do further studies, which obviously I was not interested in. And at that point, parents are like, if you're not going to study, I'm going to get you married. And I was like, yes, get me married. And I got married in a family of doctors and very highly educated family. So they said, you have to do something, you can't just sit at home and you want to go to kitty parties and stuff and movies.
So was your family in Bombay? You're married, your husband was in, so did you move to Bombay after you got married?
I did move to Bombay. And then I took up making clothes, tailoring. I said, at least I'll learn to make some new clothes and, wear different clothes when I go out and stuff. And that's how it started. It started as
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. So it started as a hobby and then you got into, I think you worked with a designer who was a choreographer. And so tell me about your first foray into styling, actually.
Hi, Rakhi. Hi, Pratap. I was always wanting to become a choreographer. I think fashion and films just happened. And, I come from an age when we had only 2 magazines that came up biannually, basically. And those were, one was a 17 magazine and one was a Cosmo, and my dad would always pick up these magazines. I used to have Gin Chunke 2 magazines in a year, and it was available in the back and beyond of Somajigoda. There was a store
Right.
that was available. So I used to go and get those magazines and go through them and see the different kind of scarf drapes and stuff like that, and models and the way they stood and the way they were short and stuff. And that's what intrigued me. But it was never. I never thought I would become a fashion designer. But it was always choreography, styling from then. And I think it just things just fell into place. I think God has been kind. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things is you've never given up your.
I'm going to keep saying hello to everybody who's joined in. So
Good. Please do. They're all your fans.
Yeah, like we are multitasking, right, all the time. So yeah.
So, one of the things, I mean, talking about multitasking, you've been someone who's, despite your work in the fashion industry, you kept in touch with academics, and you still teach, the fashion students and all that stuff. So, one of the things is to fashion. We were talking about this a little bit. To fashion, there is there is somebody saying they love your designs and how you play with fabric.
Thank you, Manisha. I read your messages. Yes, hello, Prajakta. Chidija, hi. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things is that how do you teach the students? There are two sides to fashion. One is the very glamorous, fun, you get to work with the actors or the brides, glitz and fashion and stuff. And there is the real behind the scenes work of always keeping up with what's going on. And we were talking a little bit about technology also. So there is the behind the scenes world also. So what is your advice to fashion students? What do you always tell them to be mindful of?
They always say that the more you ghasao, the more you chamkao. So Safed doesn't come with grin. For us, it comes with ghasna. And
right.
I think like every field of every vocation or job profile, there is a foundation to what you do. And even to fashion, there is a foundation of a base that you need to know, which is your education in the fashion industry for whatever you want to become. And it's very important that you go through this because it's something that will create the platform for you to go ahead in life and to understand what you're doing and to understand what you want to do as well in the industry. So much as everybody sees the glamour aspect of it, trust me, there is at least 18 to 20 hours of hard work that goes into it. And it is always, you're always learning, you're always studying. Today, I'm 34 years down in the industry, but I can tell you that every day for me is a new learning. And that is what is something that one has to go with, especially in a creative field. So if you are looking at, and Lakshmi, I say this with a lot of conviction and honesty, that do not get into a field because you look at the outer perspective of what you see. You see, 10 designers like us doing something and being seen in the papers, or you see a stylist who's doing something for an actor. That's not what your calling is. But when you get into studying, the field that you love, and if it is fashion, give yourself the openness of your heart and mind to understand what your calling is, and play you high, because it's important that as you go into learning and studying, you realize that maybe what you came into the industry with is not your calling, it's something else and it's completely different. So keep that open-ended mind and keep yourself always observing, and understanding what the field is all about.
You wanted to be a choreographer and you're a fashion designer. I guess you were also listening to what was out there and followed what appealed to you as well.
I think for me it was a little different. It was not about making clothes for films, or it was not about knowing my path, because I was too young to know my path basically. But I loved choreography, and for me, my guru was Hemant Trivedi, and he groomed me into fashion shows and choreography and makeup, and I taught makeup and coordination for the longest time. Hi, Nishka. Nishka is my daughter, and she's logged on.
Oh, okay.
I think that is what my calling was, and then I started working with Jeannie Naroji, who was then the biggest in the fashion industry, and she took me under her wings, and I did almost 21 shows with her, where I choreographed it, choreographed it with her. I even modeled for her, and in between there was this. Suddenly, I got an opportunity to do a film, and I just took it up. And of course, there was a huge divide, with film fashion and mainstream fashion. And so Jeannie was like, "You really want to do films? I mean, come on, get a life." And I was like, "No, I'll do it. I'll do one film and try it." And my entire look and feel for that film was very cutting edge, very different for that time. And I got accepted.
What was your first film?
It was a film.
What was the first film?
It was a film.
Pardon?
Tamacha.
Ah, okay.
My first film, and I did clothes for Bhanupriya and Kimi Katkar.
Okay. I have another question for you. Earlier when we were talking about, here today we are in the midst of lockdown. We are all at home, working from home, and your work is very hand-oriented. In the sense you work with a lot of artisans, you'll work with a lot of embroidery people, you work with a lot of daily workers, you work with, people in the design and creative space a lot. And it looks, it's like you were talking a little bit about, in this time, it's become evident that you need to know, digital pattern cutting, you need to know a lot more tools than you ever did before. So, and you was talking also about how fashion students focus a lot more on ramp shows or, designing for celebrities or whatever. But so tell us a little bit about these new tools that are coming up in the digital space that you feel are important for students to keep up with times.
So, Lakshmi, I'll just take you back to a little bit of my observance of the industry, because I've been teaching fashion for the last 28 years now. I teach in metro cities in Mumbai, and I teach in Hyderabad. And in Hyderabad, we have a lot of students who come in from small towns and villages. And, I go to a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities for seminars and stuff. And I've always come to the opinion that there is a distinctive difference in students who study fashion in the metro cities and who study fashion in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And the difference is that the metro city students are very business inclined, and the tier 2, tier 3 city and small towns students are very craft inclined. And one has to understand this and has to kind of tap them and channelize them in that direction. However, with this new concept of what has happened suddenly in our lives has done a 360-degree turn from meeting people and partying and sitting at home now, quarantined and locked down, to hugging and shaking hands, to just doing a namaste and staying 3 feet away. We're all going to be in a state where everybody doesn't want to come in contact to people for some time now, because the fear is going to definitely be there. However, life does not come to a standstill. So what we really need to understand is how can we evolve our lives around the parameters of what we have today, and as a country, we are very susceptible to understanding that, going with the flow and picking up and moving on.
Right.
We are very enterprising with that aspect. However, I feel that in terms of the fashion business, students will have to really introspect. They will have to understand that it's not going to be the way it was earlier.
Right.
Those will not
Right.
happen. So there will be a diverse change of thought process, of vocation, of job profiles, which are going to be evident. But digital medium is going to be very, very important in the coming times. So people will have to understand whatever they can do sitting at home, from things like understanding pattern cutting and making digital patterns to digital posts for Instagram, graphics, from understanding trends, digitally, and supplying that kind of work to various companies who need it. Fashion forecasting, trend forecasting. Hi, Rachu. So these are all the things that will be important in today's times and coming times. Therefore, one will have to really introspect on what they can do best.
Right. So, you were always, like in 2008, you were the first designer to go online retail platform, and you're very active on Instagram. You have a huge following, and, you always sort of kept up with the times. So where does that come from? Who's your, your own within you, the digital guru? Like, where does this come from? Because most of the creative
never
people
been a person who studies. I've never been a bookworm, and I've never liked to read, and I'm very dyslexic in that format, and I've been a terrible student. I was only a 50% pass, but I love to observe, I love to look around, and I love to meet people, talk to people, understand the mindset, and that's where my learning comes from. And I think that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps me in touch with what is around me, and in touch with what has to be done. So I somehow think it transcends into your life and into your career. When you kind of grasp things and learn and try to adapt it into your lifestyle.
You wrote in your Instagram.
Hi, hi, all of you.
So you wrote, one of the things in your Instagram you wrote about is, how use this time to reinvent yourself, reinvent what you do. It's a long quote that you wrote about being innovative in these times, etc. So, what are all the things you're doing to reinvent yourself? I mean, we were talking about how your day's totally full. So tell me, what are the different things you're doing?
I have an 18-hour day, Lakshmi, I must tell you. I love it. I am so loving it. It's not funny. Because I wake up in the morning and, I chill out for like an hour with my coffee and looking at the news, which is very depressing. So I keep changing it and then get on to cooking. And I love the cooking that I'm doing because I've never done it in ages, and I'm quite surprised. But that's one thing that I do with my cooking is I always put on Gayatri Mantra or Hanuman Chalisa or some inspirational, motivational talk, because I believe, as a person, all this should transcend into your food and into yourself in the morning time. And for someone who started during the lockdown, when the lockdown started, my first chapati was a map which didn't even look like.
Oh my God, we are so alike. You should see my Instagram thing. I put up a picture of the roti of the first day I made, and my son said, "Mom, which country is this?" So
today it's like a proper circle or an oval to that extent. So and I'm surprised. So once that is done, then I kind of I've taken on 6 to 7 classes, and my sister, in fact, she's here, Raki, she put me onto these courses, and I took up 7 courses, out of which 4 are already done. And
What kind of courses did you do?
Even today as a designer, I still feel my illustrations are not up to speed. So I took up illustration, I took up gesture drawing, I took up painting, because I paint as well. So to kind of keep up to speed with my painting. And
Are any of your paintings around you?
Yeah.
You want to show us something you've done?
1 minute, I'll just show it to you. Mm-hmm. 1 second. Maybe I'll have to kind of. I don't know how to turn this around. Sorry. Okay. I don't know how to turn this around, but yeah, some of my. I don't know what I've done. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. That's fine. So we were just trying to see if you could see the. Okay, so actually there are some of them on your Instagram post. You put little videos of you painting there. So that's.
And then I'm taking up these courses, which I've already downed about 200-page books where I keep sketching and gesture drawings and shapes and shading and everything. So I'm quite enjoying it. And then there is a workout time. So I work out, then go through various things on fashion for an hour and a half. And then at this time, it's a lifetime. So I'm people on Insta, or I'm on Insta Live myself, talking to students on webinars and on careers of fashion. So I'm learning,
and you started a whole series on well-being. Actually, I saw that. I saw you had something with Pierre Ravan. And every week you seem to be doing a lot of things in the well-being space. Did this come out? Recent.
That at this point in time, whatever we can do in our own little way, is important. So on House of Neeta Lulla, we've started these wellness, well-being, where I initiated the first one with my husband. My husband, Dr. Shyam Lulla, is a psychiatrist. So we got him to talk to people on the stress of being, locked down with so many people staying within family. Suddenly you are in the face of your family members, which you haven't been for the longest time, and you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to deal with just sitting at home. You don't know how to deal with not connecting with people. So we did a talk with him, and then we did a talk with Rubal on art and how art is therapeutic, on yoga. I did a session on careers of fashion, and now we're doing something on Friday with Pierre Ravan, who is fantastic with meditation, and heartfulness is his thing that he promotes, and we're doing that, and it's fabulous. And he's got some amazing music, and for me, music is meditation. For me, work is meditation. Right. So I think, especially for the youth, and especially for people who don't believe in, sitting and meditating or just doing yoga, they need something up to speed. Like for me as well, I find something up to speed is important rather than doing something which is very slow. So
right, yeah.
So there is a couple of questions. So
there's a couple of questions that came. One is about sustainability in fashion. Someone was asking about sustainability in fashion and said, "Can you tell us a little bit about how you started it, and what do you consider sustainability in fashion?"
Okay, so Poonam, thank you so much. Thank you, Raki. Navang, Sonam, I am fine, thank you. Sustainability in fashion, Prajakta, yes. I think I started it when I was almost 10 years. Actually, Mom started it when I think Rachna and Rakhi and all are there, they will know. when my eldest cousin got married. So one sari was taken and 3 dresses were made out of it. So it was about reusability. So the point I'm making here is that sustainability is not only about getting technological fabric and talking technology and talking sustainable, trying to get sustainable fabrics available to you, making new clothes out of sustainable fabrics, and buying a lot more. It is about reusability in Indian terms. I read and I heard Gaur Gopal Das ji say somewhere that as Indians we are very sparing. So when we have a T-shirt, an old T-shirt of ours, which we don't wear now to go out, we will wear it at home. And even if we can't wear it at home, we wear it in the night to sleep. And even if that we'll use it for Holi. And if we can't use it for Holi, we'll use it as katka. So that is what we are about, and that is what sustainability is all about,
Right.
It's important to understand that sustainability begins, like charity begins at home, sustainability begins at home for us Indians, and reusability is a way to go. Especially when we live in a rich heritage and domain of our parents, our aunts, our grandmoms, and who have such beautiful fabrics, Kanjeevarams and Kalamkaris and Banarsis, which you look at and you say, oh, mom wore it or grandmom wore it. No, but remove it, reuse it, restyle it. The trick here is to be able to, use a jacket that you picked up from Zara or a shirt that you picked up from Zara with your grandmom's sari. Oh, it'll be fantastic to think about it. And that is what sustainability is all about.
There's a question from Swaraja, who's my sister actually. So she's asking about fashion must also integrate tradition. Like she's saying, our temples are full of great hairstyles and clothing and dance, music, art, and things like that. In what way are you integrating? And because you do a lot of integration of ancient fabrics and stuff. So have you looked at our temples and our ancient architecture also into design?
Swara, my life revolves around it. My life revolves around integrating sculpture, ancient fabrics, ancient motifs, and using it in Edwardian cuts and styles and Renaissance colors. So for me, I'm Indian at heart, and this is what I do. That is my fashion philosophy. So if you go through House of Neeta Lulla and you see my clothes, I've also incorporated Kalamkari with lace and created new styles and used ornate hairstyles from Khajuraho sculptings and stuff. So that's what I love doing, and that is my fashion mantra.
Yeah. So we are at the end of the show. Maybe we can end by answering. There's a question from Ishita about what would be your top 3 tips to grow business and recover post-lockdown? Like what are the things you're planning to do post-lockdown? Maybe you can share that.
To grow business and recover post-lockdown, Ishita, firstly, this is not a tip, but this is an advice. I think you should keep your eyes and ears open to the needs of the industry right now. Give yourself some time, at least a month, 2 months, because this is here to stay for at least some time till the mindset of the people change. Firstly, think about clothes that are wearable. Now I'm giving you the tips. Clothes that are wearable, clothes that are reusable, and look at growing a business which has more practicality in terms of the kind of stuff you focus on. And I think you'll be able to recover like this because be price sensitive, be style conscious, and you'll be there.
And I think it's a matter of, reinventing ourselves also, as you said. And somebody was talking about clothes that are right for the climate, clothes that are right for staying home, clothes that are right for, there are so many ways you can go, which we're also thinking about. So we are out of time, Neeta.
top accent
Yeah.
of that you need, because I'm sitting here all glamorous and I'm sitting in my PJs, just to let you know.
Yeah, and I realize the only thing that matters when you are doing this is your earrings. You know, that's the only thing that's shown, or your hair. It doesn't matter the rest of the stuff. So anyway,
Dressing up is a feel good. Dressing up, doing your makeup, doing
yeah,
your is a feel good even in this time. So just have fun.
yeah,
You have all the
yes.
time, and you can create a
So
style.
thank you so much for a fellow Hyderabadi, and we'll have to do this show in Telugu sometime soon. And thank you so much for your time.
అలా చేస్తాం.
తప్పకుండా చేద్దాం. తెలుగులో కబుర్లు చెప్తున్నాం. Okay, thank you very much. And on just to wrap up on Rakhi saying you rock, you absolutely rock. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.